Picture this. You're at a fine dining restaurant, scanning the whiskey menu. One bottle says whiskey with an E, the next drops it entirely. Whisky. You pause thinking, wait, is that just a typo? Or am I about to order something completely different? Turns out, that single missing letter carries centuries of rivalry, craftsmanship, and national pride. In today's episode, we're raising our glasses to explore the story behind whiskey and whiskey to see what truly separates the two. From Irish tradition to Scottish legacy, from spelling quirks to spirited culture wars, we're diving deep into the amber mystery. So sit back, swirl your drink, and let's uncover the real tale behind the world's most debated spirit, right here on Secret of Simple Things. Before we sip, though, let's rewind to where it all began, the birth of the word itself. Hi, I'm Frank. Nice to see you again, and welcome you to our channel. Whether you're a seasoned connoisseur or just beginning your spirit's adventure, don't forget to hit the button like, subscribe, or bell bellow. Huge, interesting journeys are awaiting you, definitely. Whiskey versus whiskey have the same root but different pride. Both whiskey and whiskey share the same origin, the Gaelic phrase uisce beatha, meaning water of life. The term was cherished in both Scotland and Ireland, lands where distillation had been practiced for centuries. When the phrase was first adapted into English, it became uisce, and over time, that evolved into the word we now know as whiskey. Here's where the story divides. In Scotland, people dropped the E and wrote it whisky. Across the Irish Sea, they kept the extra letter, and with it, a distinct sense of pride. The Irish traced their claim nearly 900 years back. In 1170, English soldiers returning from Ireland described a burning, healing spirit they called uisce beatha, the water of life. It scorched the throat, warmed the heart, and, as legend has it, lifted the soul. Centuries later, Irish historian Malachy Magee would declare this the first true whiskey ever made. Meanwhile, Scotland had its own sacred record. In 1494, a monk named John Core was granted 8 bowls of malt to make aqua vitae, just a single line in the king's ledger, but to Scots, it's proof carved in history. Their soil distilled the spirit first. Legends can blur with time, but written ink keeps memory alive. The earliest printed appearance of the word whiskey came in the Gentleman's Magazine around 1753, mentioning the sale of 120 gallons of whiskey in Dublin. Before that, the spelling wandered like the drink itself. Whiskey in 1715, whiskey by 1746, each variation pointing to the same fiery essence drawn from grain and devotion. Back then, whiskey didn't mean exactly what it does today. Writers used it for herbal tonics or sweet fermented brews made from honey or dried fruit. It wasn't just a beverage, it was a feeling, a way to describe any liquid that seemed to hold life itself. Only when grain became the soul of distillation did whiskey gain its modern identity. Centuries after it was first called the water of life, whiskey has evolved into a reflection of the cultures that crafted it. The same spirit, yet shaped by different lands. Scotch whiskey, born from Scotland's rugged cliffs and salty air, embodies patience and endurance. Slow-aged, peat-smoked, and endlessly complex, it's a drink for those who believe time itself is an ingredient. Names like Lagavulin and Glenfiddich remind the world that strength and subtlety can share the same glass. Bold in fire, but deeply thoughtful at heart. Meanwhile, Irish whiskey, spelled with that proud E, tells a story of craftsmanship and revival. Irish distillers were among the first in Europe to perfect the art of distillation, and they're still known for their signature smoothness. Typically made from both malted and unmalted barley, Irish whiskey goes through triple distillation, one more round than Scotch, which makes it silkier and lighter on the palate. It's then aged in used bourbon or sherry casks, soaking up flavors of vanilla, honey, and fruit. Where Scotch brings the smoke and fire, Irish whiskey brings warmth and charm, less a storm and more a sunrise. It's approachable, yet elegant. Proof that finesse can be just as powerful as intensity. Irish whiskey also defined difference lies in the triple distillation process. One extra round that gives the spirit its famously smooth, light, and refined character. Unlike the sometimes smoky intensity of Scotch, Irish whiskey glides across the palate, clean, approachable, and subtly sweet. It's often matured in used bourbon or sherry casks, where it absorbs layers of vanilla, honey, and dried fruit, creating that comforting balance between sweetness and spice. When whiskey was reinvented in America, across the Atlantic, America embraced both the Irish spelling, whiskey with an E, and the independent spirit that came with it. Over time, American distillers built their own proud identity with styles like bourbon, rye, and Tennessee whiskey. The rules vary slightly, but the foundations are clear. Corn for bourbon, rye for rye whiskey, and always new charred oak barrels for aging. Bourbon, for instance, must be made from at least 51% corn, which gives it that deep amber color and rich notes of caramel, vanilla, and oak. Tennessee whiskey, made famous by Jack Daniels, follows similar standards, but adds a distinctive step called the Lincoln County process, what has charcoal filtering that softens the edges and leaves the spirit exceptionally smooth. In general, American whiskeys lean sweeter and fuller-bodied than their European cousins, carrying hints of toffee, spice, and smoke, a reflection of America's taste for bold flavor and craftsmanship. Canada's quiet contribution. No story of whiskey or whiskey would be complete without a nod to Canada, the often understated giant of the whiskey world. Canadian whiskey, spelled without the E, has been flowing since the early 1800s, shaped by cold winters, vast grain fields, and a knack for smoothness. Early settlers from Scotland and Ireland brought their distilling skills across the Atlantic, blending Old World tradition with New World abundance. What makes Canadian whiskey unique is its light, mellow character. Most are crafted from a blend of grains like rye, corn, wheat, and barley, and aged for at least 3 years in oak barrels. This aging process, combined with Canada's fluctuating temperatures, gives the spirit a signature balance. Gentle spice from rye, a hint of sweetness from corn, and a soft finish that goes down easy. Famous names like Crown Royal, Canadian Club, and 40 Creek helped put Canadian whiskey on the global map, praised for its versatility in cocktails and its smooth sipping quality. It's not as smoky as Scotch or as bold as bourbon, but that's its charm. Canadian whiskey stands for subtlety and craftsmanship, proof that sometimes the quietest spirits speak with the most refined voice. Japan's love affair with whiskey. On the other side of the world, Japan's love affair with whiskey, spelled without the E, began in the early 20th century. Japanese distillers traveled to Scotland to study the art firsthand, bringing home not only the techniques, but also a philosophy of precision and harmony. What emerged was something distinct: whiskey made with the discipline of a tea ceremony and the soul of a master craftsman. Japanese whiskey speaks in quiet balance, elegant, floral, and precise, best savored neat or with a splash of water to reveal its subtleties. How to enjoy and distinguish whiskey versus whiskey. Enjoying whiskey, or whiskey, is an experience that invites all your senses to slow down. Whether it's smoky Scotch, smooth Irish, or bold American, the essence of appreciation remains the same: patience, curiosity, and respect for the craft behind the bottle. Start with the glass. A tulip-shaped whiskey glass, often called a Glencairn, is ideal. Its narrow rim concentrates aroma, while the bowl lets the spirit breathe. If you prefer something more casual, a short tumbler or rocks glass will do, especially when adding ice. The goal is to give the whiskey space to open up and reveal its layers. Pour a small measure, just enough to swirl comfortably. Before taking a sip, observe the color. Golden, amber, or deep bronze tones often hint at age and the type of barrel used. Then, inhale gently. Bring the glass to your nose, breathe in softly, and let the aromas tell their story, such as vanilla, oak, smoke, fruit, or spice. Every scent reveals part of its journey from grain to glass. When you taste, let the whiskey rest on your tongue for a moment before swallowing. Notice how it changes, first heat, then sweetness, then lingering depth. You may add a drop or two of water to soften stronger whiskeys and release new flavors. Purists call this opening the spirit. Finally, enjoy the finish, that warm echo that stays long after the sip. Great whiskey leaves memory as much as flavor. In the end, distinguishing whiskey from whiskey isn't just about spelling or origin. It's about mindfulness, knowing that every glass holds a story of time, place, and passion. Sip slowly, listen closely, and let the spirit speak for itself. So, now that you know the truth behind that missing E, it's your turn to taste the difference. Whether you lean toward smoky Scotch or smooth Irish, raise a glass to centuries of craft and culture. Because in the end, it's not just about what's in the glass. It's about the story it tells. If you enjoyed this journey through the world of spirits, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your fellows. We've got plenty more stories brewing about flavor, history, and the people who keep tradition alive, one sip at a time. Thanks for being here, and see you later.